Let me show you the power of compound growth using an ETF that has historically grown 5 times in 10 years. We will start with the basic compound growth formula, which helps you calculate what your initial investment could become over time, given a fixed annual growth rate. Here we are assuming that our fixed annual growth rate is R. It's actually an average annual growth rate. This average could be coming from historical average of 5 years, 20 years, depending on how long the ETF has been out there. So whatever the current value is, the present value is, you multiply it with 1 plus that annual growth rate and to the power t, where t is the number of years you plan to stay invested. I have built a Google spreadsheet. Let's go to that spreadsheet. Okay, here it is. So in this cell, let's say we put how many years do we want to invest your fund. So let's say that I want to invest my fund for 10 years. Now, what is the initial price? Let's say that the initial price or the amount that I can invest is $10,000. Now, expected percent return rate per year. So let's put like 18% or maybe 18.88%. What I have calculated is the projected final amount, considering that there will be compound growth. Compound growth is practically whatever return is out there at the end of the year, that return is reinvested. And that is the case for most mutual funds and ETFs. So the projected final amount, considering the compound growth, will be around $56,000. So $10,000 will become $56,000 after 10 years if our return rate is 18.88%. And that gives us a projected total profit of around 46,000. This is projected total profit or return would be 46,000. Now, you may be wondering, is there really any ETF or mutual fund with that kind of long-term average return? The answer is, drumroll, yes, there is. Let's take a look at FTEC. That is Fidelity MSCI Information Technology Index ETF. And this ETF is a composition of Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Broadcom, Salesforce, Cisco, Oracle, so on and so forth. Now let's go to performance and risks. This part has pretty good piece of information. Let me try to zoom this in. Okay. So where I want to go is here. So this financial institution, in this case Fidelity, provides growth of hypothetical $10,000. If someone deposited $10,000 on this particular ETF, FTEC, and if the deposit was somewhere in December of 2014, then that deposit of $10,000 would grow to around $56,000 today. Here are the values actually. So $10,000 deposited in December of 2014 would now become 56,000. And this is historical data. This is based on historical data. Like at the end of March of 2025, that amount of 10,000 would become 56,424. So this is the hypothetical growth. Notice that around end of 2021, there was a starting of a dip which continued till around September, October of 2022. Then actually it started to rise. In the recent months, there is another dip. So even after that dip, the average annual return is 18 point something. And that is reflected here. So this market return, 10-year market return is 18.70, and lifetime market return for this particular fund is 18.88%. And that's why in the calculator I used 18.88%. here in this cell. The idea of compound growth is that everything that is produced by a particular fund that is reinvested every time a return is produced. So I'll provide a link to this Google spreadsheet in the description section below so that you can do your own test about what initial amount will result in what amount after certain years, given the average return rate per year. Always do your own calculations before you invest. That is the main idea. Do not take any risk. In this particular example, I have only shown how one fund can grow to something big over time. In practice, it's better to invest every week in very small amounts. So investing in large amount suddenly, it might be very risky, but investing every week in a small amount averages out and reduces the risk. Time diversity is always good for investment. Thank you for watching.